College Road, Ocala, next to Hobby Lobby. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
Did you know that there's an Italian bakery and deli in Ocala? Yes, there is. Right now, they're busy making traditional Easter treats, Easter bread, ricotta pies, St. Joseph's cakes, and so much more. They make them fresh daily, just like your Nonna made. Mangia. The Italian bakery and deli is located on North Magnolia Avenue, just north of downtown. So call ahead and order early. 352-207-2667. Happy Easter and God bless.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. I want to give you the latest from the College of Central Florida real quick. On Wednesday, April 20th at 8:35, Bonnie Hayes and Diana Worthman will tell us all about the college's Employer Connection Service to help students and graduates connect with local employers. So tune in to hear about the ways CF can help local employers find qualified students and graduates, find jobs and internship opportunities. That's Wednesday the 20th at 8:35 a.m. on Higher Education Happenings right here on WOCA The Source. I'm joined in studio now by the excuse me. I had when you're doing it all, you sometimes live radio. Ocala Tree of Life Sanctuaries, the Rabbi Zeev Harari and Reverend John Fowler are in the building with us. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a unique time and for a unique sanctuary because you are a Christian and Jewish sanctuary. You both have your own worship services in different parts of the building, but you both operate under one roof, and that's unique in itself. But how does that it's got to be difficult to do everything, because right now is a busy time for Christians and Jews with Rabbi with Passover and Reverend with Easter coming up. That's got to present some unique challenges.
I think the person that's challenged the most is the janitor, having to clean between the services.
But it is a busy time of year for both faiths.
It is. It is.
Get a little closer to the microphones for me, too, please.
Yeah. We have a service Thursday evening. Then the synagogue has one Saturday evening, and then we're back in there again Sunday morning this week.
With Good Friday coming up and Easter Sunday for the Christian faith, Passover for the Jewish faith. But it does show, as you wanted to illustrate, that both faiths can come together and accomplish a good thing, even though you may not, your belief systems may be a little different. I mean, we still use the Old Testament in our beliefs as Christians, so there's some similarities. But during this holiday time, it's got to be great to have all that buzz and just movement around the sanctuary.
I agree. It is nice that we are not in the building alone, and it's a learning opportunity for both congregations.
Reverend, when the rabbi says it's a learning opportunity, how is it that when the two come together, when the two have to, because they're so close, usually the Jewish faith is on Saturday, the Christian faith is on Sunday, so even though you're together, you're not really, but right now during Passover and with all this, there's a lot of intertwining and a lot of cross-sectioning here.
Yes. And we have been invited to their services, and some of our people have attended, and some of their congregation have attended some of our services, and that's part of the learning opportunities that we have with each other.
Rabbi, tell us what's going on at the synagogue this week with everything that's going on. Tell us some of the things that are planned that people may come out for.
We have our adult education, and people come out to learn, to study, and we also canceled our Friday night service because it's the first Seder night, and this is done at homes. It's a family event, Then the second night, which is Saturday night, we are doing a congregational Seder, which I'm going to lead.
And now, Reverend, you'll do something Thursday night, and then Sunday. Is Thursday night in place of a Good Friday service or something?
Yes, we have Wednesday at noon, or at 11 o'clock, we have the last of our Lenten series. We've been having those every Wednesday, and it's preparing us for Easter Sunday. And then on Thursday evening at 6 o'clock, it's Maundy Thursday. And we have that, and that combines our Good Friday service with Maundy Thursday on that evening.
I will tell you, this Lent has been a boon for me because it's caused me to lose weight. I'm of the Catholic faith, and I gave up for Lent eating after 9 o'clock at night. And I didn't realize how hard that was going to be. And God said you're supposed to give up something that you have to work at to do. And boy, it's been a work for me not to eat popsicles at 10 o'clock at night. It's been but Rabbi, talk about, for some people that may not know, what's the difference between what the Christian faith sees as the Easter celebration and what the Jewish faith sees as the Passover celebration?
These are two completely different things that we mark and celebrate. The Jewish faith celebrates the story of the Exodus from Egypt is told in the book of Exodus in the Bible, and the story is demonstrated not only by the book of the Exodus, but also through rabbinic sources which came after the destruction of the temple, the second temple in Jerusalem at the year 70. So while this is a historical moment that shaped the Jewish people, it has nothing to do with Jesus. Jesus is not part of Judaism, in spite of the fact that he himself was what I call the most famous Jew on earth.
Yeah.
And the celebration of Jesus coming back to life is uniquely for Christians of all denominations, but not to us.
Certainly, I wanted people to know that Passover was about the Exodus from Egypt. A lot of people think that Passover has something to do with Jesus, and it has nothing to do with Jesus. It has to do with the Exodus of the Jews from the slave control of Egypt.
No, they had 600,000 slaves leaving Egypt, and all of them, except two, died in the desert over the course of 40 years, and then they entered the promised land and they had to conquer it under the leadership of Joshua, and as they say, the rest is history.
We of the Christian faith know the old spiritual Joshua fought the battle of Jericho.
Exactly.
We know that song very well. We know the history of it. And then, Reverend, of course, the Christian faith takes the death of Jesus Christ and the ultimate resurrection 3 days later for the forgiveness of sins, and that's what we celebrate.
Yes. Yeah. The Last Supper that Jesus celebrated was most likely a Seder meal, a past celebration of the
I'm
Passover.
sure it was.
Yeah. So that's about the only connection between Passover and Easter is that Jesus did celebrate the Passover before he was crucified. Yeah.
And
one more remark is that food, meals are essential for both religions, and I believe every religion. Here you have Ramadan now, and I don't know if you ever attended a Ramadan feast at night. They have food.
Far as the eye can see.
You cannot even imagine how much food there is. In holidays, food is very, very important, and you cannot have a Seder without the food. Some of it's symbolic, and some of it is just good.
My Grams would tell you couldn't have an Easter Sunday without an Italian meal spread out across the table either.
Same idea. Same idea.
Yeah. Our building has 2 kitchens, so we can prepare lots of food.
Yeah, well, yeah, and food is, and the rabbi makes a very good point. Food has always been a very integral part of the celebration of both religions. Always. All religions, really, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Jesus himself fed people with 5 loaves and 2 fish. So it was 5,000, I think he fed, isn't that right? If I'm remembering my catechism classes right. My mom will be happy if I get this right.
5,000 men plus women and children.
Right.
So there was over.
Fed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Fed a lot of people.
Jesus loved to eat.
Yes. But like the rabbi said, food has always been a part of the celebration of every religion. And I think that it's great that you brought the connection to the Christian faith and the Jewish faith, in that Jesus was probably, his Last Supper was probably his Seder meal during Passover. You know, when right before Judas gave him the kiss on the cheek and everything, he was enjoying a Seder meal with his apostles. So that is the one connection between Jesus as the Jew and Jesus as the leader of the Christian faith, is his Last Supper was probably, it was definitely a Seder because he was a practicing Jew.
Yep. And that's,
Let's talk for a minute about, now y'all been under the same roof now for, it's been a while now. You've been on numerous times here. Was there any kind of give and take getting used to it, or was it like y'all fit together right away?
there has been some. We quickly learned that we did not make enough classrooms. So we had to take one of the little conference rooms that we had and turn it into a nursery because the timing of their Sunday morning education classes and ours, we had to really work out a time schedule where we could use these few rooms that we have, at different times, but very close to the same time. Yeah.
But little hiccups like that. Mm-hmm. In the grand scheme of things, what y'all are illustrating, having two faiths come together and showing our community, and then it could be a blueprint for the world, that people of different faiths and different beliefs can still be very good friends, get together,
Absolutely.
function side by side. Mm-hmm. I'm reminded that, if people in the Middle East would realize that we can all get along and function mm-hmm. side by side, instead of having to deal with rockets being fired at innocents. And that's what happens every day in the Middle East, is rockets get fired at the innocent. Mm-hmm. If they could just I wish we could bottle what y'all are doing and convince everybody in the Holy Land that this is how everybody should act.
Yeah.
You're talking about rockets. I'm talking about the reality in Israel that now people are being stabbed by kitchen knives.
Yeah, steak knives.
So it's not only rockets, but rockets are being fired too.
It's just what you guys have accomplished could be a blueprint if the world would listen on how we could peacefully all get along.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Both of you to be commended in your congregations. And let's not forget your congregations. I don't know what was it a difficult task convincing the two congregations that this would work?
I don't know that I say difficult. We did lose people. There were some people in our congregation, when we said we were going to do this, they said, then I'm leaving. That happened to both congregations.
Yes.
That some people just didn't think this was a good idea. But those that stuck around, which was the majority, have been behind us 100%.
It's a beautiful sanctuary, beautiful facility
Yes.
that you have out there off 80th. And you are both to be commended. But your congregation, I think it can't be overstated how important it was for your congregation, even if you lost a few, for your congregations, both congregations, to say, we can see the value of this as well.
Yes.
We lost also some people, and the main fear that some of the congregants had is the fear of proselytization. All along history, we've had issues with Christians trying to proselytize to us and trying to convince us to convert to Christianity. And this was one of the main fears that people had, but we have agreed between us, between the two congregations, that there will be no proselytization, and that's a very good thing.
Reverend, now that had to be an agreement that makes it work. But I know the Christian faith, we like to knock on doors, and we like to witness and tell people why Christianity is the right thing and everything. So was that a hard convince for your congregation?
That's not really where our congregation is at. We're not an outwardly, overtly evangelical congregation that does that sort of thing. So it wasn't, really a big deal for us. We said
that's why it works.
Yeah. Now, interesting that as far as I know, we've had no one from the synagogue convert to Christianity. We have had one person from our congregation, though, that has converted to Judaism. On their own free choice, not that the synagogue was seeking that out, but
certainly. Do you find that people in general, when they find out that you're the reverend of the Tree of Life and you're the rabbi of the Tree of Life?
I am not the reverend of the Tree of Life. I am the head deacon.
Oh, you're the head deacon. Okay.
Our pastor, Reverend Dr. Harold McSwain, is currently undergoing chemotherapy treatment and can't be here. So,
do you find though between the two congregations that when people outside of the congregations learn the story, they're like, we're confused. How does that work?
Yeah. We were giving tours of the building to people throughout the month of March, and people were just amazed that we were doing something like this. Yeah.
Rabbi, do you find it the same way that sometimes people are like, it's amazing this is working, that it catches them off guard that it actually works?
Yes, it is a typical reaction of people who just cannot deal with this kind of openness. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people in Marion County who don't speak to others who are different. And this is one of the main reasons why we have been doing this project, to open and widen the horizons of people who cannot understand this.
Now, when you did this project, there's many benefits to it. But let's be honest, one of the benefits is financial. You have two congregations at one sanctuary. It's got to help financially both congregations as well. And even though money's the root of all evil, in this society, money is a necessary evil at times. Mm-hmm. So it did help bringing the two of you together financially.
That was part of the initial reason for doing it. Yeah, that neither one of our congregations could have built a facility like that. Yeah, we couldn't have done this without the other. Yeah.
There's a partnership, you can tell. And the way the building's laid out and everything, you can tell the partnership was well thought through. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of discussion on how to build this sanctuary and but how do we not get enough classrooms?
Well, hindsight is 20/20.
we should have a build day and just do an add-on, an addition already. We should put an addition on the sanctuary already.
There's a long list of things that we wish we had done differently, like any new building.
Did Rabbi, when was it that you finally realized, through all the discussions and everything, that this is actually going to happen?
There was one point that I knew that it was going to happen when the president of On Top of the World, Ken Colin, who is also a member of our congregation, was fully behind it. Mm-hmm. And I knew that if he wanted it to happen, it will happen.
King Colin is a very influential man, and when he wants something to happen,
absolutely,
it usually gets done.
Yeah.
It usually gets done. Now, this celebration, the celebrations that are taking place all this week, are they open to anyone who is, even if they're not in your congregation? Are they open if you want to come to the sanctuary and you want to participate? If you're of the Jewish faith, the Christian faith, are they open to anyone to come to this week?
Ours certainly is. Yeah.
And ours is not open to even to our own members if you had not made reservations, because we serve a full meal. And
yeah, it is a Seder.
had to tell the caterer how many meals to prepare.
So because of that, yours isn't open even to your own congregation if they didn't make a reservation.
When it comes to services, our services are totally open to the public, and you can come in and participate in the service or just observe it. But when we serve a meal, we need to know how many people are coming.
For catering purposes. Now, when is if not the Passover celebrations, but if somebody wanted to come to the synagogue, when are the normal services?
Our normal services are every Friday night at 7:30 in the evening, and occasionally also on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock.
And Reverend, when is the services at the?
Our Sunday morning service is normally at 10 o'clock in the morning. This Thursday, Maundy Thursday, the service is at 6 in the evening.
For people that don't know where you're located, we've been talking about the sanctuary and everything. Like everybody knows where it's located. It's located off 80th. Mm-hmm. It sits up on the hill. It's really nice. But tell people the actual address so they know where it is.
I don't know the actual address.
It's right across from the entrance to Stone Creek.
Yes, it's right across the entrance from Stone Creek. That's the directions I always give.
My wife's fixing to, when I get done with this show, my wife's going to be, see, there are two men. You said men, no addresses. There are two men that are going to say across from Stone Creek.
I can call my wife and get the address.
See, my wife gives directions like we just did. It's across from Stone Creek. I would give the address, but my wife would be like, it's across from Stone Creek.
But it is really.
It really is.
Yeah, you come to the entrance of Stone Creek, you turn.
Look left, and there it is.
You see the building.
Up on the hill. Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot not see it.
Well, I enjoy every time you guys come in here because it's such a unique situation, and I get to learn more and more. Like, as a practicing Christian, until you explained Passover to me, I had no idea it was the Exodus but I'm glad you gave us that so that people do know that it's two completely separate celebrations. Mm-hmm. That the only tie is Jesus was a practicing Jew and is probably of the Jewish faith, and it's probably his last supper was a Seder meal that he was having when Judas came up and gave him the kiss. So thanks for both of you coming in. I never understand why the third person in the room never wants to talk on a microphone. You ever notice that? He just goes over and sits by the window and never says anything. He always.
He's very modest.
Well, once he starts, you can't shut him up, though.
That is what Joe Martone told me. That's what Joe Martone said.
And he also tells good jokes.
Well, then he's a guy to have along at all times.
Well, I'll tell you a good joke.
Go ahead.
I just heard this a couple of days ago about a minister and a priest and a rabbi who sit and have coffee together and they talk about their own funerals. And the priest says, in my funeral, I want the people to say that I was a great priest, that I really cared for people. And the minister says, I want people to say in my eulogy that I was the greatest preacher. And the rabbi says, in my funeral, I want people to say, look, he's moving.
Yeah, it's better to be seen than viewed, Rabbi. It's better to be seen than viewed. I'll give you that. Thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And happy Easter and happy Passover.
Thank you.
We'll be back after this time out.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The U.S. Department of State ordered all non-emergency government staff in Shanghai, China to leave immediately. The Chinese Communist government, in response to surging COVID-19 cases, is tightening pandemic restrictions exponentially. The city's 26 million residents are ordered to stay home, no exceptions, not even for food. Shanghai last night, people are screaming for food from their balconies. Russia's invasion of Ukraine appears not to be going too well. President Putin is blaming his old colleagues at the Federal Security Bureau, that's the successor to the KGB, for the quagmire. Putin reportedly removed more than 100 agents from the FSB, and his government sent the head of the department responsible for Ukraine to prison. For more information, visit us online at usaradio.com. We are USA Radio News.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
It's bow time. Ever taste something so good you just get hooked? Like the Bojangler.